Hello and welcome all to a new session. Today's topic is you versus your kidney. Yeah. So among the vital organs in the body, the major organs that we damage are heart, our liver and kidney. And today's topic will see how you versus your kidney, like how we are fighting with our kidney and unfortunately our kidney is losing, right? And what are the corrective measures that we'll have to take? So as always, before we start session, we do quick FAQs. Some of the FAQs that came after the previous session on emotions and relationship was people wanted more examples, and so this is a lot. We can go on this how different personalities behave, but in short, you have to understand is that each person is different, and that's based on their upbringing and all that, and the expectations are different, and we should not imagine that the other person will also think and behave like me. That is where we are doing mistake, right? We have to give that space for the other person, and this way there will be less friction. Otherwise, there will be always conflict. See, for simple case, we take a bunch of utensils and put it in one place, right? So they'll make some noise, right? They'll make some sound. You take a couple of utensils or couple of articles, put it in a bag, and it'll start making sound. So when two utensils together are making sound, similarly when two people are there, there will be sound, there will be friction, there will be problem. We have to handle that effectively. Okay, there will never be an ideal person ever, right? Guy will be always looking for the perfect girl, and the girl will be looking for a perfect guy. So that is not going to happen, right? So this way we will never have a ideal person. We have to just always accept and adjust. One topic I missed when respect to personality 1 and 2 was how they handle telling lies, right? So personality 1, when they tell a lie, after some time they'll go and accept that lie, right? So for example, the guy is telling that I have an important meeting, and he goes out of the house, but he's simply roaming around with friends, and the wife notices that he's not going for some important meeting, he's just chatting with his friends. But the wife doesn't say anything, and he'll come back home and he'll try to tell a lie that no, actually I went for the meeting, our meeting was good and all that. After a few days, he'll go ahead and accept that lie. No, telling that no, that day I did not go for any meeting. Actually, I was just spending time with friends. So by accepting a lie, personality 1 thinks that they are showing their affection, they are showing their love. On the other hand, personality 2, when they tell a lie, similar case, so they told a lie and they went with friends, and the lie was caught. So to protect that initial lie, they will tell 100 other lies just to protect that first lie. So by doing this, why they are doing this? They are doing this to tell that they love the other person, to show their affection to the other person, so that the other person may not think that whatever till now they have told is a lie. So they protect that lie, thinking that it is the other person should not consider the person as a liar. On the other hand, personality 1, they will tell a lie and they'll accept the truth, right? They'll accept the truth and they'll think that the other person, it's a way of showing affection. So one person tells the truth, other person protects the lie. Both means the same, but what happens is we think that the other person is also like us. That's where the problem comes. So I told the truth, so we accept the other personality to tell the truth, which they are never going to tell. Even though the lie has been caught, right? They will never accept the lie. They'll tell 100 lies to just protect that one lie. So when this is there, there's going to be a problem. Now the person personality 1 should not think that this person has protecting a lie, right? Everything that person has told a lie. That is a very wrong conclusion to get into.
That especially happens with the kids, right?
Yes.
Telling more lies to
just to protect the first initial lie.
But they
correct.
No, I have kept it here only.
Correct.
And then at one point, it happens to me. I can reflect. I tell my daughter that it's easy for you to just tell
the truth.
But I think now I understand it's the personality type, so there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong. They're just so they're just trying to protect the first lie, so that you don't conclude about that person. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
So that you don't conclude that whatever this person has been telling till now is all a lie. So to protect that image of theirs, they keep on telling the lie. On the other hand, personality 1, a person will tell a lie, and of course, men are very very bad liars, very poor in lying. When they lie, you can make out from their face that they are lying. Otherwise, also after some time, after a few days, after a few hours, they go and accept that they told a lie. So that's the difference, right? Personality 1 tells a lie, then tells the truth, trying to project project their affection. But whereas personality 2 will tell a lie, and to protect that lie, they'll tell 100 other lies just to protect. So that's where the friction happens, because we don't understand the other personality. We expect the other personality also to be like us, right? And when that is not there, then the whole thing starts, and then it gets into the cycle of trying to doubt that person, whether the person whatever they have told till now has been truth or false, or that. So that's not it. So if somebody is trying to protect a lie, it's because of affection, and on the other hand, somebody is trying to reveal the lie and tell the truth, it is also because of affection. This is what we have to understand. So that is about how personality 1 and personality 2 handle lies. Okay. One more topic we were discussing discussing about emotion was this tongue is hungry for food, for taste. Stomach is hungry for food. Similarly, this person is always hungry for appreciation, right? So little pat on the back is what we are always hungry for. So it's not that we are looking, it's also when we give. When we appreciate others, we also feel good about it. Right? So it's a goodwill, right? So it could be as small, as simple as thing. Like we're taking the cab, after getting down of the cab, you can just say thank you to the cab driver, right? So we are going to a restaurant, ordering a food, somebody is coming and serving the food. We just say thank you to the person, right? So simple appreciation that we give to others is very good, because we are also expecting that appreciation, right? In the form of appraisal, in the form of bonus, in the form of hike, right? So we are also always looking for that appreciation. We are tied to some big appreciation that we are going to get end of the release, end of the cycle, end of 6 months. But in this whole thing, we are missing out this small appreciation which we can give to our neighbor. We ask for a small help, that person was able to help you with that issue. So a nice appreciation. And somewhere this is also there in Cisco culture. That's where this connected recognition, kind of a concept is there, where you can recognize your peers, you can recognize your managers also, right? It need not be something groundbreaking, something great that you have achieved, right? It could be a very small thing. It's a nice way of telling appreciation. And if somebody has got an appreciation, connected recognition, you can go ahead and give kudos to that person. You can say, it's nice that you got this appreciation. So all these tools are there for that purpose, right? So connected recognition, you can recognize somebody has helped you, somebody has given you, some valuable info. So that way, because the person, as a human being, as a person, is always hungry for appreciation. So when he gets his appreciation, he feels good about himself, and if he feels good about himself, all the other good things starts happening, right? His disease starts healing better, right? He becomes a better person, all that. So a person is always hungry for appreciation. And one more FAQ that I got was, I've been told that my sessions are having very catchy names. Like today's session, like USS, diabetes is not a disease. So I've been told that the captions are very catchy, and it makes the person try to attend the session. Okay, 2 sessions back, we had a topic on cleansing techniques. Anybody started following? Of course, some of you started following oil pulling. Good. Yeah, good. You can share this information to others also, motivate others also to start this cleaning technique. Ideally speaking, all this should be part of our education, right? How to clean ourselves, how to be, healthy, but somehow it is not. These are very basic things which can be taught in our school curriculum, part of our curriculum itself. Any other cleansing techniques anybody has started? Hi. Any other?
With the oil, there is a similar thing which was told by somebody who was doing the therapy.
Okay.
Like we gargle 10 minutes and spit it out.
Correct.
The other similar one is like having 1 or 2 spoons of oil in a glass of lukewarm water.
Okay.
Either in the evening after an hour of dinner or whatever, or first thing in the morning. Obviously, when you are not doing the gargling thing, so you do 1 week of gargling.
Stomach cleaning, basically.
Stomach cleaning, just one look, and I have tried both actually. A week of that and a week of this.
Right.
So both are have their own.
Yes.
So it's very simple. And even with water and coconut oil is sometimes easier to start because people who are not very conscious of putting oil in their mouth and gargling.
Correct.
This is like 95% water, and you're putting 1 or 2 to your comfort, and it doesn't look like oil. It looks like water.
Yeah, it looks more of a water. Water is more dominating.
And allow an hour not having any tea coffee.
That's more important. After taking that oil, this is not oil pulling. This is more of a stomach cleaning process. It was part of that diarrhea. So we forcefully make our stomach cleaning. So either you can take oil and little lukewarm water, or you go to Ayurvedic medical shop, you'll get a powder. You just mix it with water and 4 or 5 times will pass motion. So basically to clean, right? We're just cleaning outer layer. We're not cleaning internally. So by taking this oil or this powder from the Ayurvedic shop, so it just cleans everything internally, starts cleaning.
What is the powder?
I just go to any Ayurvedic shop and ask for stomach cleaning powder.
No.
So they'll just give a powder, mix it with water and we drink, and 4 or 5 times we'll pass motion. That's it.
What is the frequency?
Once in a month is good.
What is the oil name?
Any oil we can take. Castor oil is very effective. Castor oil.
And what is the quantity of?
1 spoon. 1 spoon in a glass of water.
That is also once in a month.
Once in a month is more than enough. And when we are doing this, we have to take a lot of water because a lot of water will be releasing. So we should take a lot of water. We should not take any coffee, tea. We should not eat anything.
That day.
Only on that day.
Stomach cleaning.
Okay.
Diarrhea is one of the cleaning techniques.
No coffee, tea, only on that day.
Ideally, we should not drink coffee, tea any day. At least that day, because now we start this process and the body is started cleaning. And that time we give coffee or tea. Now body is under confusion whether I should clean or I should digest. So we should not give anything to digest. Should not eat anything. Should not drink coffee. Some 4 or 5 times will pass, and after that automatically it will stop. If it is not stopping, then you can go for this curd with sugar, jeera jamun. So these are techniques of stopping. And black tea. After 4 or 5 times, if it's not stopping, you should take black tea without milk. That will stop. So once in a month, ideally on the weekend, is good enough. Yes. Correct. Castor oil is very, very strong effective. You can go with coconut oil or other things are also effective, equally effective.
Is the powder is Triphala powder?
No.
Oh, that is
Triphala.
yeah.
But if you go to a allopathic medicine shop and ask, they will have that, but they'll not give it. They'll ask so many questions. Why do you want it? Because allopathy does not approve this process. Ayurveda approves this process of stomach cleaning. Right. So we are giving the rest for our eyes. We are giving rest for ourselves, but we are not giving a rest for our stomach. Right. So rest and cleaning. So rest for stomach would be like fasting. Cleaning of our stomach would be like stomach wash. So that's one of the effective cleaning. Kids also, yes. So when we were kids, our mom used to give this neem leaf and crushed into a paste and made into a ball, and it was very tough to eat that time, but it was one of the important
That
things.
also helps clean this.
Yes.
Neem oil?
Neem oil, I have not tried. I don't know. I have not tried. Neem leaves, yeah. So a lot of neem leaves crushed and made it into like a fine paste, and just eat it. That also will clear the stomach.
Curd with sugar?
Curd with sugar to stop. After 4 or 5 times, if you want to stop, I mean, if it's not stopping after 4 or 5 times, it will stop. If you are going through these natural methods of, castor oil or this Ayurvedic shop, whatever that powder that you get, if it's not stopping, then curd with sugar after 4 times, and raw tea. I mean, milkless tea, black tea. This too, and jeera of jamun.
Kind of condition where you have too many, this will work.
Yes. To stop, this will work. If it is not stopping after that, then you have to see a doctor. So when we don't stomach clean, body will itself force clean one day. It will just wait, and finally it will give us the area. It is actually cleaning process, but we think it is wrong, and we take a medicine and try to stop it. But basically, body is trying to clean. So any other technique, any cleaning techniques anybody tried? Anybody tried enema? It's one of the most weirdest things to try, but it is very good, effective. So once
Another thing what I tried is
drink a lot of water. Water cleaning, like vomiting.
I tried that.
Okay.
Many times it helps a lot of.
Something we are feeling very uncomfortable. It's not digesting properly. It's not either going down or coming up. That time you can take that. But otherwise, we do not do that as a process.
Because I saw that in the time there are two things. Like for patient and
Cleaning from both directions. So that is not the bad until something is stuck or you're feeling like vomiting sensation. To drink more water and vomit it. Otherwise, it's not.
With this, we take the deworming tablet once in 3 or 4 months. Is that required?
That if we follow we had a separate session for cleansing, so you can just refer that video. If you are following those things, these deworming tablets, all this is not required. So that covers everything, like cleaning from the head to eyes, nose, mouth, everything, complete body cleaning. That covers almost everything. So other things are not. Banana leaf bath also can try, but you need some help, right? So to tie you with the leaves and all that. You can try at your own pace, but before trying, just do research about the topic. I've given all the pointers, so you do your research and take up whatever is comfortable. Easiest things to start with is like oil pulling, right? That's the most. And water, cleaning eyes with water. Take a palm full of water, dip your eyes in it, open, close, and so change the focus. Good enough for eyes. Okay, so one more question that was like, how many people are getting this session? So there are around 430 people in the Healthy Living at Cisco group, and some people forward to their friends also. So around 500 people get the recordings. How many do you think are actually seeing the recording?
5.
Very good. Law of average works.
I mean, it is not that effective.
Correct.
The problem is it's on buffering. If you connect it from home, right? It's on buffering and you're not able to view it.
Achha, so now I started putting on YouTube, so that buffering issue should solve to some extent. And otherwise also as a human mentality is like, I have the link, I'll see it later. Like that later never comes. So versus like we have the recording, better than that is attending at least on the live WebEx. Better than that is live audience. That is much more effective. Okay, and we were talking about trips. So next trekking trip we are having on Coorg. That will be 5th and 6th of November. I'll share the details of the trips if those who are interested can come. So basically we try to go out of from Bangalore where we don't have mobile signal basically, and we do a lot of trekking so that we sweat a lot, right? Because otherwise our office is full of AC. Our homes are AC, our cars are AC. There is no opportunity where we are sweating. So once in a month, we're trying to go for some trekking trip kind of a thing, where we do a lot of trekking, we sweat a lot, and we get to breathe fresh oxygen. We'll be going to places where there is no vehicle, comparatively less pollution, right? So last a few weeks, 2 weeks back, we went for the Ahobilam trekking, and the next trekking will be to Coorg in November 4th and 5th. We'll be leaving basically Friday night, coming back on Sunday night. I'll share more details of that in the group. Anyone who's interested can. Okay. We get into today's session. Kidney. So kidney, the functionality of kidney we all know, right? So every drop of water we put on the tongue is a work for the kidney. So kidney will take that water and it will start, analyzing what is the good thing in this water, what is the bad thing in this water. Whatever is good thing in this water, it will try to take it and mix it into the blood, right? Because blood is a carrier, blood will take it to all the parts of the body. Whatever it is bad, it will try to take it and mix it with water and send it to urinary bladder. This is the functionality of kidney. Right? Every person has 2 kidneys, and it's ideal that both kidneys are working and effective. But unfortunately, what we do is, this normal process of kidney, we try to affect it by giving wrong kinds of water. When I mean wrong kinds of water, it does not the filtered water versus unfiltered water. What I mean is alcohol, right? So body, when the alcohol a person drinks, body will not know it is alcohol. For body it is liquid. Liquid means it has to process. Same process. It will try to analyze what is good thing in this alcohol. Right, let me try to break it, let me try to mix it in blood. Whatever is blood, let me try to mix it. So when we give water like alcohol, it is very, very difficult for the kidney. It's like very, very overhead for the kidney. Right? In one of the early sessions, we were discussing that how a person who is alcoholic drinks a lot at night, next day morning his eyes becomes red, right? Because kidney and eyes are working on the same energy called as the SAR energy, SAR. The taste that is there in the raw mango, tamarind, right? So this kind of taste, that's the reason we put a raw mango in our tongue, our eyes closes. Our eyes does not close when you put something sweet. Our eyes does not close when you put something salty. Our eyes will close only when we put something sour, raw mango kind of a thing, right? So eyes and kidney are related on this taste called as sour, because this person has taken a lot of alcohol. So throughout the night, the kidney was working and it has consumed all the sour energy in the body, and there's nothing left for the eyes. So the moment he opens the eyes in the next day morning, the eyes are all red because there's no sour energy left in the body, totally drained. That's the reason some people who are drinking alcohol, they'll also have something sour to eat, right? Try to compensate, but they don't know the logic behind it. But because the tongue will naturally create a tendency to eat a particular taste which is lacking. Some people will like tamarind rice, some people will like lemon rice, some people will like curd rice. Because whatever is you're lacking, right, the tongue will create a sensation, you go and eat that. You keep on eating that, right? After a certain point, the same body will reject it, right? People say apple is good. So you keep on eating apple. After a few days, body will say no more apple. Because body has got all the taste that is there in the apple. Now it wants a different taste or different combination of taste, right? Somebody likes tamarind rice, keep on eating tamarind rice. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Fourth day, you'll run away from tamarind rice because body has got that taste. It is enough. It wants some other taste. Cafeteria. We have one vendor. First day when the vendor starts, we like the food, right? Second day, same food, same menu. Second day, third day, food. After fifth day, we'll not like that vendor. First day, we like the same vendor. Fifth day, we don't like the same vendor. Because same combination of taste. Same at home also, right? First day we like, second day we like, third day, fourth day. After years of eating, we'll feel like I rather be hungry than eat this, right? Sometimes we borrow some curry from the neighbor and that tastes very good. Ask your neighbor, he will say, I'm bored eating the same thing, right? The same thing. So you eating certain set of taste, you feel bored about it. So a person who is alcoholic automatically will have a carving to eat sour food. And not only alcoholic, non-alcoholic people are also damaging the kidney equally. So we will see like people who are having kidney stones or kidney cancer can be alcoholic as well as non-alcoholic. Because non-alcoholic also you have equally damaged your kidney. Let's see what is that. So alcoholic case it is very clear because any alcohol, any drop of water on the tongue, it's a work for the kidney. And more contaminated that water is, the more work for the kidney. So it will work, and eventually it will end up with having a lot of problems. Non-alcoholic people will also have kidney-related problems if they don't take care of it. So let's see further how non-alcoholic people abuse their kidneys. So both are equally damaging their kidneys. So effects of alcohol we have seen. So non-alcoholic people, how they damage their kidney. Say suppose kidney function we are clear, right? We drink water, water goes to kidney, kidney tests it. Good things it mixes in blood, bad things it mixes with water, urinary, and sends it to urinary bladder. If a person drinks less water, what happens? Somebody has told him don't drink water, or he is busy, the water dispenser is very far from him, right? So he is drinking less water. What will happen? So the body will get less water. Kidney will take the good things from the water, mix it in blood. Kidney will take the bad things, but it will not have enough water to mix it and send it to urinary bladder. Getting the point? So it will keep those bad things, thinking that one day I will get enough water so that I will mix it and send it, right? Because water is very, very essential. Every second, every cell requires three things: oxygen, water, and glucose. So water is very essential. So what is, at that point of time, kidney has to take a decision. Should I give this water for the cell, or should I use this water to mix bad things and send it to urinary bladder? So priority comes. So, okay, no, cell has to require water because this person is drinking less water. Less water is available. Each cell requires water. So priority changes. So the kidney will say, okay, let me give water to the cell. Let me not use it for mixing. And it will keep those dirt, contamination. It will wait. If the person does not give enough water on a day, years and months basis, that dirt will be there. It will start accumulating and it will become stone. So kidney stone, when we say, it's not that the stone that we see outside. Those stones are nothing but the dirt stones. Like the stone, if you see, it will be like magnesium stones, calcium stones, right? The bad calcium, the bad magnesium, the bad substance that is there in the water, right? Which the body does not want to use, which was not digested properly, the body does not want to use. It will keep storing. When there's enough water, it will mix it and it will send it, right? If it's not getting enough water, it will just keep storing. Over a period of time, that will become stone. And when we go for allopathic medicine, they'll say, okay, we'll remove the stone. After removing the stone, again you'll get it. Because you have not solved the actual problem of giving enough water. Because at the basic, at the core level, we have not solved the problem. We are solving the problem at a symptom level, right? Stone is come, I'll remove the stone. That's not the solution. Why stone came first? That we are not addressing. Getting the point? Right? So why stone came? Because the person did not drink enough water. So this is one case. The person has not drunk enough water and the kidney is not able to mix the bad things into that. There is another case. So one thing that the person would tell us, you're drinking water, less water, because of which stone has happened. Now you start drinking more water. That is also dangerous. Same thing. If a person starts drinking more water, what happens? Kidney has more work. Everything, good thing in the water, take it, mix it in blood. Bad things, take it and mix it in urinary and send it to urinary bladder. If a person is drinking more water, the kidney does not have the time to mix the bad things into water. It takes the water, whatever is required for the body, it will send it to the body. Excess water, it has to mix the bad things and send it, right? But it does not have the time to mix that. So it will keep sending without mixing. Over a period of time, the dirt will again form stone. Drinking more water is also dangerous. Drinking less water is also dangerous. If it's less water, it doesn't have enough water to mix and send. If you drink more water, it does not have the time to mix. It has water, but since you're continuously giving more water, it does not have the time to mix. This is where the wrong concepts all came into picture. Some person will say drink 3 liters of water, 4 liters of water, 10 glasses of water, different numbers. 6 glasses, 8 glasses, 3 liters, 4 liters. One website will give you one number. None of the number can be applied as a global rule. Because before telling that, did you ask whether the person is in Bangalore or person in Chennai? If a person in Switzerland drinks 6 liters of water, he will die out of kidney failure. Because body is already struggling to throw whatever water is there. On top of that, you are giving 6 liters of more water. It's too much work for the kidney, right? On the other hand, a person in Sahara Desert, if you give him 6 glasses of water, it is probably very less for him, right? He doesn't have enough water for the kidney to mix. So the simple basic thing is, common sense is, drink water if you are thirsty. That is the right level. Don't drink water if you are not thirsty. Very simple. If you are doing water only cleansing, if you are doing stomach cleaning, that time you should drink more. So this water only fasting, where the whole day you are just taking water only. Take water, pass water. Take water, pass water. That is also one of the cleaning techniques. That time you should only drink water, don't eat anything. That is fine. But that again gets misunderstood, right? So what people do every day, early morning, drink 1 liter of water. No, if you are thirsty, you drink. Very simple. You're doing stomach cleaning, because of the diarrhea, you will be losing a lot of water, right? That time you take more water. Otherwise, drinking more water is also dangerous. Drinking less water also is dangerous. To drink less water, kidney does not have enough water to mix. To drink more water, kidney does not have the time to mix. To drink alcohol, it's overwork for the kidney. So all these are the damages that we are doing to our kidney. So because of this things, kidney is not able to mix the dirt, forming over a period of time, it becomes kidney stones. And when this is left unattended for a long time, as we know, dirt is what converts into cancer. Right? We have seen in a couple of our earlier this thing. When a substance is dirt, it decomposes and finally it becomes cancer. All this can be solved with only one very simple thing. Drink water if you are thirsty. Don't drink water if you are not thirsty.
If you are not thirsty frequently, then what you do?
Your body does not require water. You are not thirsty, body does not require. You have to communicate.
Tendency not to drink water. Usually don't feel thirsty.
So, but they don't require that. But sometimes it's also a mental block that if I drink water, I have to go to the restroom, so it will affect my work. So that kind of mentality we should not get in. If you're normally thirsty, we should drink.
Is there any other symptom apart from thirst? Again, in the early morning, they say at least you have to drink 1 glass of water to clean your body early morning before you have anything else.
One more thing I'll actually cover. I was about to cover it a little later. So the moment we get up early morning, right, we'll feel a lot of thirst. Ever notice that? Especially if you are in the AC room and the fan is running, right? So we have been told that okay, if it is hot outside, we'll feel thirsty. But in the AC room, why am I feeling thirsty? That I'll cover later. So that will answer. I'll probably try to answer that because we are doing some other damage because of that. This is compensating. So early morning, if it is thirsty, go ahead and drink it. Right?
But you should not drink anything else until you pass that out.
Correct. So solution is drink water when you're thirsty. The point, this point will try to answer it. The place where we are, right, 24 hours air circulation should be there. Fresh air should come and replace. Unfortunately, what happens is, in AC we have 2 modes. One is cool the air that is there inside the car. Second mode is take air from outside, cool it and then give it. To save a little bit of battery and diesel, what we do, we go for the first option. Just cool the air within. You know, common sense is like we breathe out oxygen, right? and we breathe out carbon dioxide and we breathe in oxygen. So in a room, say this room is closed and totally closed, there is no option for air to come in, right? Within a few minutes we'll consume all the oxygen. Let's assume there is no AC, there is no ventilation, all the doors are closed. Within like half an hour, we'll consume all the oxygen that is there. Whatever will be here will be only carbon dioxide, fully trapped in carbon dioxide. When this is a situation, okay, whatever I'm trying to tell is not approved by allopathic medicine, okay? So they don't agree to this point, but theoretically it's possible. So let us assume we are in a room fully carbon dioxide. After half an hour, all the air is left out. There's only carbon dioxide. That time, what the body will do? It needs oxygen, because without oxygen it cannot be. Every cell needs oxygen. So that time, what the body will do is, kidney, the breathing, the nose is not able to supply oxygen. Let's assume. Kidney will start supplying oxygen. Medical science does not approve this, but theoretically, kind of possible. Because water has oxygen, right? H2 water has oxygen. Kidney will try to take oxygen from that water and try to supply to the cells. The molecule is broken and oxygen is trying to take. It's a very, very overhead for the kidney to do that. So especially in night, we sleep under a fan. Carbon dioxide is trapped. There is no ventilation. We close all the doors and windows. Right? Carbon dioxide is not allowing to escape. We are not getting fresh oxygen. That time it's a very, very overhead, but body needs oxygen. So it's kind of an emergency case. We don't realize the importance of the situation. It's kind of an emergency case. Oxygen is not there, only carbon dioxide is there. Kidney will start supplying oxygen from the water. It's a very difficult task for it to do, but for the person to survive, it will start doing. So it will take that water in the body, break it down, try to take oxygen and supply, so that the person is alive. That is the reason the moment we get up early in the morning, we feel very, very thirsty, because all the water in the body is taken out for this process. This is one of the major reasons why most of the people get the kidney stones and kidney related problem. Kidney's job was very simple: take water, take it, good things mix in blood, bad things send it to urinary blood. This was a very, very simple task it was supposed to do. But we are making it do a very, very difficult overhead task.
So
sleeping with ventilation 24 hours, there should be ventilation. There should be option for fresh air to come and bad air to go out. If you see old houses and all, they had a very high ceiling, right? And they used to have a ventilator or a window on top. Why? Because the carbon dioxide that we breathe out is hot. It will rise up and it will go out. And there will be windows for fresh air to come in. So the cycle would happen. Hot air, carbon dioxide will go out from the top. Because otherwise, why should somebody keep a window on top of the ceiling, right? Every ceiling will have a window ventilation. This is the reason. Hot air will go out, fresh air will come. Now, the other questions that can come is, if I open the window, my neighbor will peep in. So open the window, put a curtain. Mosquitoes will come. Put a mosquito net.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Vishal. Yeah. Okay. You considered the example of a fan, right? What about when we turn on the AC, we are like trapped in a room or in a car. So in that case, how is the
yes, AC and fan, same thing. Even with respect to AC, if the AC is in a mode wherein it takes air from outside, cools and gives you, that is okay. But if the AC is in a mode where it is just cooling the air trapped, right? So AC room generally will have completely closed, and it is just cooling the air within. Then we are at a problem, overhead for the kidney. But if AC is in a mode wherein it is taking air from outside, cooling it and giving it, then it is good. But otherwise, a proper ventilation window and all this is good. Okay, we are in a situation where we are in an apartment, we cannot make a window, right? If I try to make a window, the neighboring guy will have a problem. So what we can do is, we can have a small a 6 diameter kind of a hole on top of the room on one place, and have an exhaust fan. That exhaust fan will throw the air outside. Small exhaust fan that will throw the outside, and the opposite direction of it, try to have a small similar hole. That's the best solution we can give. So that exhaust fan is bad because fan is just rotating the air, it's trapping the air, and it is not allowing that carbon dioxide to escape. So sleeping directly under a fan is very bad. Exhaust fan is very good. Small exhaust fan on top of the wall that will throw the air outside. Even worse than this, there is one very worst condition. We close all the windows, we close all the doors, we put AC, we put fan. It's still bad, but not very bad. There's one more bad condition. You know what is that? Keeping this mosquito coils. So not only we are not getting oxygen, that's breathing only carbon dioxide. On top of that, these mosquito coils. Mosquito coils, all the coils you turn back and see, they'll be in a small place. They would have mentioned it as poison. It's not the only poison for that mosquito, it's a poison for us also. Mosquito is small, it is getting the effect immediately. We are a little big, it takes us time. So most of the kidney stones happens because of these mosquito coils. But where we are breathing is poisonous air only. So to avoid mosquitoes, you can have a window with mosquito net attached to it, or you can sleep in a mosquito tent. There's so many other things. Using a mosquito coil means guaranteed that you are putting overload on your kidney. You are not giving oxygen, and kidney has to do work and try to take water from the.
One more question.
One second, there's a question in the room. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. So there are other alternatives. Don't use this good night, all these things. Correct. I also saw that. So what is saying is this good night, all these boxes are there. Take that, throw that liquid, whatever is there, add neem oil into it and camphor into it. That is effective as driving out the mosquitoes and not harmful.
And turn on the plug.
Turn on the plug. Just use it as your normal. Otherwise, sleep in a. So sleep in a mosquito tent. More than enough. Keep our surroundings clean. Mosquitoes will not be there. Sleep in a mosquito tent. Seal our windows with this mosquito net. Open the windows. Fresh air. Sorry, somebody had a question on the WebEx.
It's okay. Yeah, I have a question on the previous slide in which you mentioned that alcohol is bad for kidney, right? But
correct.
I've seen some doctors saying and some videos on YouTube that if you consume beer, it is very helpful for the kidney and it does not let any formation in the kidney. Yeah, I'm not a supporter, but just curious about it.
Yeah, I get the point. So comparatively, it is less. So say a person is smoking 20 cigarettes a day. To him, you can say like 5 cigarettes is good. But you should, a third person is partially hearing. 5 cigarettes is good.
No, I have an answer.
Yeah.
Even in Ayurveda, they say there is something called as a herbal smoke.
Correct.
Where you can prepare at home and smoke.
Correct.
There also they specify how much you need to
smoke. Correct.
And even they say you can make wine at home.
Correct.
But how much you need to make.
Correct.
Usually the quantity.
Correct.
On how much you need to.
Yes.
If you are drinking wine of 1 spoon a day, good for her.
Correct.
But not 30 ml a day.
Correct. So yes. So there actually for kidney cancer, one of the treatment is brandy. But not at quantity which we are thinking. And along with that, you have to do so many other processes. Okay, it's a medicine, but if you take more, then it's a dangerous thing. The quantity of which we take is not the thing. Brandy is one of the. It has a process, of course. In that process, one of the items is this brandy. One of the items. Right. So otherwise, as a principle, we should avoid alcohol. So compared to vodka, a beer might be lesser. Doesn't mean that we start drinking beer, right? So it's a comparative. Compared to smoking 20 cigarettes, 5 cigarettes is better. But we should not hear the statement partially and say 5 cigarettes is better. I was non-smoker. Somebody told me 5 cigarettes is better. Let me start smoking. Let me start drinking beer. No. If you are in vodka, you can come to beer and finally give it up. That's how it should be. So 24 hours ventilation should be there, otherwise it's overhead for the kidney. At least in Cisco we have larger ceilings and Now some better kind of ventilation compared to some companies where we have very short ceilings, right? A lot of places they have very short ceiling, and the air that is it's trapped and it doesn't go out. Daytime it's still okay. At least in the night we should take care that proper ventilation is there. And fan, I just took it as a challenge some few years back that otherwise every day I used to sleep right in below the fan. I took it as a challenge because somewhere while I was reading, I saw that for a few days if you don't sleep with fan, you don't require fan. So I took it as a challenge. For 5 days it was difficult, without fan, because you've been used to it. After 5 days I did not require fan. Now I don't require fan, I don't require AC, no matter how much hot it is, whatever is the temperature outside. I keep visiting to different places, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, North India. Nowhere I require fan, nowhere I require AC. And it's more of a mindset also. The 5 days when you conquer yourself that I don't need fan, after that you actually don't need a fan. Yes. So fan is not required because I remember as a kid in Bangalore nobody used to have fan because it was very cold, and somewhere the global warming and the temperature started going high and all that, and then somewhere the fan came and then AC started coming. But otherwise for a Bangalore, for India kind of a temperature, you don't need this. At least in night we can try to avoid fan. For a few days it will be difficult. For first 5 days we'll be sweating like anything, we'll not get proper sleep. I'll tell you that also. At least for the first 2 days we'll be sweating and will not get proper sleep also. But after that you don't require fan anyway.
The temperature is very hot. You definitely need it.
It should be very less. Very minimal.
I agree with your point. I sleep without fan. For me, I used to sleep with fan. It started giving me headache sleeping with fan. And then
Lack of oxygen.
Then I stopped using the fan. I sleep very well without bottom places.
You should have a very minimal fan. Very minimal fan. It's not that it's trapping the carbon dioxide inside and not letting out. Not that speed. At a very minimal speed. And if your ceiling is high, right, and you have a hole on the top, then that ventilation happens. You don't require at night.
But for me, my windows are open. My bedroom windows are open. I have a mesh window.
Perfect.
It's completely okay. I used to get headaches if I sleep under the fan.
So
I stopped using fan.
Perfect.
I get good sleep.
That's your headache again because the lack of oxygen.
And the same thing is applicable for ACs in cars.
Correct. AC in car, you try to see if it's not dusty outside. Open your glass, and if it's very dusty, you can put it. But set the AC in a mode wherein it takes air from outside. It will take more of your diesel and battery, but that is good. 24 hours, we should get fresh supply of oxygen. And then to compensate, somewhere there will be damage, right? Somewhere you will not have oxygen. To compensate all these things, we go for a place where their natural oxygen is there. Deep breathing we have to do. Either here or when we are going for a trekking or we are going for a village kind of an environment where the air is fresh, should start doing deep breath, taking deep breath. That will try to control the damage to some extent. Some solutions for kidney stone is you take this green beans that you get with the layer, with the side skin, and boil it till it becomes like a very soft, and then grind it, make it into a fine paste. And that person has to drink it. And after that has to drink some 2 liters of water. It has a very high fiber in it, and it will start melting the stone, and that whole thing will come out in the urine. It will be very difficult because that stone is coming out through the urine. But this is an effective solution which people have tried. Beans, boil it, and make it into a paste. French beans. Make it into a paste, drink it, and along with that you should drink more water also, because it needs that amount of water too. And the entire 2 liter water will come out, and along with that your stone also will come out.
Even the radish.
Yes. That's my next point. Banana stem. So this banana plant stem will be there. With that we can make we can make a curry, we can make sabji. That we can normally take otherwise also, because it's very rich in fiber content. And of course, millets are also very rich in fibers, millets. So banana stem, we can make sabji. It's available in most of the smaller markets. Even in the supermarkets also you will find it. So around this size will cost you some 20 rupees. So once in 2 weeks you can always make that. It's very fiberish. So that will also avoid prevent kidney stones from forming. And there's a person called as Vaidya Narayana Murthy. So somebody who's having at an advanced stage wherein, see, whatever we're talking is like try to prevent kind of a thing more. If somebody is at a very advanced stage, so there's a person called as Narayana Murthy, Vaidya Narayana Murthy, his name is. He's near Shimoga. So he gives treatment for this. It's a very from a herbal thing. Shimoga, there's a village. So more information about him is available. His name is Vaidya Narayana Murthy. So you go, he'll give you some plant extract, tree bark extract. So and he'll tell you what to do. Mix it with honey and take it, and those kind of things. So very natural way of clearing ourselves from these not only kidney cancer, other cancers also. He'll tell you. You go to him if you are having a cancer, and there's a lot of good review about that person also. The charge is very, very minimal, very less. There's actually almost no charge. And there's a long queue for that. He opens around 7 o'clock in the morning, and there are 300 people already standing there.
Any type of cancer?
Yes.
They say it's not cured.
Correct. You mean
they didn't clear that, so they came back to dialysis.
They came back to chemo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But chemo.
The cancer, this is about the kidney failure.
Kidney failure. Some people it works, some people it works. Because it is right. Also, how much we believe in the medicine is also matters, right? So if we have a doubt on the medicine itself, then the body will treat accordingly. If you have faith on the medicine, then the medicine will work.
Start with the allopathic medicine, right? Once your body gets addicted to that,
correct.
When whatever the Ayurveda natural stuff you try to take.
It's very difficult because we have made it more chemical than that mg is only will increase 5 mg, 10 mg, 500 mg. It starts working only for that. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of today's session, and we'll take a few questions. Before that, we'll take the tip of the day. So most of the people our generation are suffering from acidity, heartburning, right? The reason for that is we are consuming more of acidic food. Any food that is cooked is acidic food. Any food, millet or non-millet, anything that is cooked is acidic. So acidic food we are continuously taking, so we are having all these things. Ulcer, right? Heartburning, acidity kind of a thing. You have all these ENO and all these things. What they do is they just form one layer so that the acidity does not rise above. That's the very quick fix. We are feeling that acidity because that acidity is so much, it started coming out of the stomach and we have started feeling it till the throat. This ENO and all those things just suppresses, makes one layer so that effect does not go. That's not a solution to the problem. Solution to the problem is take more alkaline food. All food that we can eat raw is alkaline food, raw vegetables, whatever we can eat. So somebody will feel eating carrot nice, eat carrot. Somebody will feel eating radish nice, eat radish. Don't force eat things. Somebody does not like radish, don't eat radish, eat carrot, whatever. Whatever you can eat raw vegetables, fruits, right? Juice you can take, but if you're taking a juice, you're missing on the fiber. Better to eat a fruit than a juice, right? So that you get fiber also. So fruits, vegetables, coconut, the best alkaline. Coconut, tender coconut. Every day, one tender coconut water you drink, within 30 days you don't have any acidity. Because it's very good in alkaline. So these are the things, tender coconut, everything. Coconut, tender coconut water, the coconut pulp itself. But the only thing with coconut is you should not cook it. Eat raw. Chutney can be taken. So chutney is raw, it's not cooked. So coconut, as far as it's not cooked, it has that alkaline property. So raw coconut we can eat. Coconut chutneys we can eat. Coconut, tender coconut water we can drink. Right? What else? Coconut oil also we can take. Coconut oil, little bit of coconut oil also. So all these are very good in alkaline, and they will reduce the acidity. This body actually is pH value around 7. Sorry? 7 plus, yes, 7 plus. All these foods, cooked food we take is less than 7. Colas that we take is 4 and below. Because these germs, insects will grow in the quantity between 4 and 7. Above 7 they cannot go. Below 4 they cannot grow. These germs and insects. Say you're purchasing a bottle of cola, Pepsi, and you see worms are there inside. What will happen? We will not take it, right? So what these companies do, they reduce the pH value below 4. Below 4, those cannot grow. This bottled water. See, normal water, tap water, river water, you take and keep. After a few months, it will start developing some insects, which means there is life in it. It can. This distillery water, 6 months to 12 months, 2 years, nothing happens. Because they have reduced the pH value so that the worms doesn't come inside it. But that is good on the worms part, but it is very bad on the body part. Because for 7 point plus body, you are giving a cola which is 3 or 4. Very, very dangerous. Outside the danger of excess sugar in that, pesticide in that, they are not the danger. The pH value that is being reduced is the more danger. Coconut water, 8 plus pH value. Himalayan rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, their pH value is 8 plus. That water you won't find insects. Because insect will go between 4 and 7. So acidity, all these problems, coconut is your solution, raw food is your solution. Coconut water, 1 tender coconut you drink a day, 30 days, after 30 days you don't have acidity at all. Acidity, ulcer, all stomach related problems. Okay. So with this we end the session. Any questions we can quickly take before. Sorry, I didn't get the question. Soda also same concept. They reduce the pH value so that the insects and the worms doesn't grow.
No, what is asking
soda is not solving your problem. So soda just goes and blocks your acidity from rising.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. Soda does not solve a problem. It just solves a symptom. So when the acidity is there, it starts rising from stomach. It's there for a long time. Then you keep on giving cooked food. It starts rising and starts coming to the throat. That time we feel very uneasy. You take soda, cola, all these things, they just form one layer. They cut off that acidity part, but the problem still remains. It's like suppressing the problem, and that will lead to another problem. That is like ulcer. That acidity is there in the stomach for long. It will start creating holes in the stomach. And stomach ulcers are like lethal, deadly. So actual solution would be to switch to a raw food. So ideally condition would be like 1 meal in a day we should have raw food. Uncooked food, vegetable, fruit salad, different varieties. You can try different combinations, different masala, spice. It should be uncooked. That's all. One food in a meal, 1 meal in a day. We can go for normal, whatever we want to eat as for taste. 1 meal in a day we can go for millets, so that we get fiber. So this way it will be a holistic meal. We are not missing out on anything. Anything that is cooked is acidic. Even millets, wheat, rice, anything that is cooked is acidic.
That is why they say when you chew a lot, right, it gets mixed with saliva.
Correct.
Saliva is highly alkaline.
Correct.
That neutralizes it. So the more time you take to chew, that alkaline thing gets into it, and then that neutralizes it. You can find out what is causing you acidity. So if you don't sleep well, you get acidity. So if you eat the spicy food, you get acidity. So
if you are hungry and you don't eat, you still get acidity.
After saying 6 o'clock, don't drink coffee, don't drink tea, don't drink any acidity.
You will start feeling a burning sensation. You will start getting burps unnecessarily. You'll start feeling, if you're not getting, you're good. You don't have to get the symptoms to realize it. If you're not getting, you're good. Right. Sometimes you eat very, very spicy food, you'll start feeling very kind of uneasy, more masala, more spicy. If you're not getting, you're very good. So raw food we should take. Actually, if you take only raw food, no problem will be there. But we can't live like that. So I can just simply suggest eat only raw food. So what will happen? 2 days, 3 days we will eat. 4th day, you see one idli, you see one chapati, mouth will be watering like anything.
Ramen is not even fry, right?
Nothing.
Today I got carrot.
Just buy carrot, take out the peel and eat it. That is some amount of cooking, little bit. But ramen, take the carrot, take out the skin and start eating. That's it. That is raw. Any questions on the WebEx? Thank you.
So, Bala.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bala, these sessions are recorded, but I never get to see any emails in which I can find a link to see the videos offline.
All these recordings will be shared to the mailer healthyliving@cisco.com. If you're not subscribed it, please subscribe. In that mailer, all the recordings are shared. And there's a Jive page,
okay,
which is having all the recording links. So probably you can just ping me, or if you just subscribe to that mailer healthyliving@cisco.com, you'll start receiving the mail.
Okay, fine.
Just ping me so that I'll send you all the Jive page.
Jive link will be fine. I'll just see.
Yeah, just ping me on Jabber or drop me a mail.
Sure. Thanks, Bala.
Yeah, thanks.